This is Attacking on Pulse, and today we're going to be talking Star Trek, the future of Star Trek, as Skydance have already planned meetings with Secret Hideout, and Starfleet Academy. Is it Academy or bust? Let's get into it.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
Okay, so first of all, I just say to you that a load of stuff about Starfleet Academy has dropped today, and it looks good. Paul Giamatti is an actor I adore. I've loved him in pretty much everything I've ever seen him in, except that Fred Claus thing that he played Santa. That wasn't great, but he is a really good actor. We're getting Robert Picardo back as, the Hollow Doctor, which is very, very cool. And Holly Hunter, there's a photo of her on the bridge of a vessel we don't know. And again, an actress I really like. I actually think visually this show looks very spectacular. There is a picture of the Academy, which is the largest set ever built for Star Trek, and with all the students there, sort of thing. People, but visually, it looks spectacular. Obviously, because we're set in the future, following Discovery, we're going to get to see more futuristic starships, which is also really interesting and exciting. And the only really thing about, say, the fourth season of Discovery that I was even remotely interested in. The other thing is, though, I am interested in this show a little bit more because it follows on from Discovery, and that the final season of Discovery wasn't that bad. I actually thought it was quite good. Fell off a cliff at the end, but on the whole, I enjoyed it. I would put it on par with the second season, which was only really saved by Anson Mount, but I liked it. Things I'm concerned about: Alex Kurtzman is showrunning. He's co-showrunning, to be fair, but he is showrunning. And for me, that's a little bit of a problem. Also, I've seen pictures of the Ferengi, and they look weird again. I appreciate maybe they've evolved, but they've evolved into old-looking Ferengi. I don't quite know how that happened. But from what we've seen, it looks interesting. But I did get to speak to one of the sources I have, and this particular person does work, not with Skydance, but very closely with Skydance because of his role. He's basically told me today that he has spoken to lots of people over at Skydance, and they are quite concerned about Starfleet Academy, Star Trek 90210. The couple of reasons is they are concerned that Kurtzman is showrunning, and they don't quite know what he's going to do. They do look at previous shows he's written and co-run within the Star Trek universe, and they point to some of the less popular stuff that's been done within the new Trek era. They're also concerned about the cost. This show is very expensive. The first season in particular is quite expensive because building these sets, as I said, the Academy set is the biggest set that's ever been built for Star Trek, and they're very proud of it. Alex Kurtzman has come out in interviews and very proudly said it's big. The problem is big means expensive, and some people over at Skydance apparently are looking at it and going, did Paramount seriously agree this budget? It's a lot. I'm being told the first season is going to top out at about $130 million in that region. And the second season will be less, significantly less, but it's still going to apparently average $10 million an episode over the two seasons. So roughly $20 million, or $200 million, if only it was $200 million they're spending on these two seasons of Starfleet Academy. There is, I'm going to point out here, only two seasons that have been greenlit. Secret Hideout basically are very aware, and they've been told by Skydance that their contract might not be renewed. Now, I've been quoted a couple of times saying that it's not going to be, and the expectation is that it won't be. That's not what I've said. I have said that Skydance seem to be leaning that way, and they have 100% investigated what would happen if the contract were to just end. What are their liabilities? Are there any further payments? What is the legal position if they decide not to extend the contract again? So that implies they're seriously considering it. I've been told by people, again this source to be fair, as well as others, that Skydance are seriously considering it. They want to bring it in-house. They think because that this is what they do, they make stuff, that they can actually do a better job than Kurtzman. I don't know if once they get into the negotiations, if that will ring true. But the important thing to remember is that if you're going to spend this sort of money on a new series, it really is all or nothing. They are going balls out basically for this. I don't know another way of saying it. They are throwing everything into Academy. It has to work, and if it doesn't, Skydance, it just will be the last straw. Again, I've been told that Secret Section 31 was not seen well over at Skydance. They I've talked about this previously, but basically they looked at it because not just that it was massively unpopular and that the movie just didn't work. It was also that they argued that, look, from a business point of view, from a production point of view, they shouldn't have done it. They've looked at it. I've spoken to 2 or 3 people that work in the industry, and they've basically said, look, Michelle Yeoh wasn't really available. They didn't really have time to film it or rewrite the script properly because Michelle Yeoh basically said, I'm available for this bit, and that's, for these couple of months, and that's it. So they rushed it. They went down from a series to a mini-series to a movie, and they didn't really rewrite the script. They just sort of kept cutting it down. So it didn't work. But from a Skydance point of view, you could put your fan hat on and go, well, it was rubbish. But they put their business hat on and they go, this was quite expensive to make, and they made really stupid decisions. Decisions that Skydance wouldn't have done, wouldn't have allowed. So they look at that and say, well, are they doing it again with this Academy show? There are questions over whether the fans even want Star Trek Academy. We have said multiple times on here in scitrek that we're concerned about this show because it's a show that, yes, they've been trying to get made for years, and even Gene Roddenberry wanted to do it. But it is a series aimed at a younger audience. It's not really for Star Trek fans. I do think it's going to roll on from Discovery in lots of ways, and even though I liked the 5th season of Discovery on the whole, it's a series that was weak in lots and lots of ways. But on the flip side of that, I think the weakest part of Discovery was the casting. I actually thought it was beautifully made. I actually didn't hate some of the storylines, even though the burn. Whoever thought of that just needs to just be hung by their feet for a bit until they apologise. But they come up with but they had some good storylines as well, The second season, even though I didn't love the storyline, that to be fair, the whole thing with the Borg type thing, that was quite good. And visually, again, beautiful. I've got a big ass TV and it looks amazing on that. But the problem is, because it runs on from that, and because Discovery was really divisive within the fan base, there is a worry, again, by Skydance, that it's going to carry some of that over. That there will be lots of people that won't watch it, that are Trek fans, that even maybe watch Strange New Worlds because of, how much they love the cast and that are just going to go, it's just a spin-off from Discovery, I'm not going to bother. If it doesn't get a strong start, that's going to be a problem as well, because this is basically going to drop a couple of months before the deal is supposed to be finalised. So they think this is going to be early 2026. That's going to be 4 or 5 months before the deal ends. The first season will end basically in a couple of months before the deal ends. If it does badly, that'll kill negotiations. So it really is, success or nothing. It is everything for Secret Hideout. It's everything. Also, what I'm being told is Skydance, now that it's been agreed on the FCC and that the deal's going to go through in the coming days, have already arranged for that first contact between the bosses at Skydance as owners of Paramount, which is a major difference because they have had conversations previously, but they weren't the owners at that point legally. So those conversations were sort of informal. This will be the beginning of the first really formal conversations between Kurtzman and the bosses now that will be bosses at Paramount. That really is the first step, and I'm amazed really they've been organised as quickly. I'm told as early as the week after next. So, very, very early August, they're going to be starting these conversations, which will lead into negotiations very quickly. Skydance, I imagine, will come to that and say, this is what we want. Can you deliver? and Kurtzman will want this much money, and I imagine Paramount will go, you can have this much money. And I think those conversations will at very least be far more aggressive than what Paramount did with the previous extension, if Skydance even really give them the chance. We'll see what happens in the next few months, because I actually think a big indicator of this will be if we get to March, April next year, and they haven't greenlit things like the Star Trek sitcom that they want to do. That really is a big indicator that they're not going to be getting a new deal. If they do screen like that, it's a big indicator that Secret Hideout will. So let's see what happens. But guys, get into the comments, tell me what you think. Are you looking forward to Star Trek Academy? Do these visuals that have been dropped, interest you? Robert Picardo in this interests me. But what do you think? Get into the comments. Are there positives to this? Or is it just going to be Star Trek 90210? Not for us Trekkies. Get into the comments, tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. It really helps us out, and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can become a member of the channel and get to see a lot of these videos before everybody else. Go check that out too. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.